everybody, and welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer, and welcome back to yet another Championship predictions video. We're now into week 39. Of course, next week there is an international break, but guys, I'm not leaving you empty-handed in terms of Championship content. Next Tuesday, I'll be bringing out my final EFL Championship prediction table video, so make sure to head over to the channel then to check that one out. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, hit that like button. And if you are new here, please do subscribe to the channel as well. So let's jump into these 9 predictions that we've got. And we start off with Derby County versus Coventry, 2 teams that will want to improve on their results midweek. Both teams losing that fixture. Derby, at one stage, it was around January time, really did look like they'd be getting out of the relegation picture. Unfortunately, at the moment, they're in relegation form, and that really does need to pick up. Coventry, on the other hand, you know, they really need to pick up if they're going to make the playoffs. It's looking a bit unlikely now, but if they do go on a run of wins, then it is achievable, but they will need to pick up on their current form. This is going to be interesting because Derby, you know, they have got a much better home record than away, so I think that will really uplift the Derby fans in having a chance of getting a result here. I think I'm going to go for a 1-1 fixture on a prediction on this one, to be honest. I think just because of Derby being at home, I do feel they'll pull off a result. Sheffield United versus Barnsley next, and Barnsley will be massively uplifted with how things are going at the moment. They look like they're really closing the gap on Reading. They're putting pressure on them, and the way their form is going, it will actually be Reading that end up going down if Reading don't improve and Barnsley continue the way they're going. They're coming up against the Sheffield United team, though, obviously very high up in the table, looking to make the playoffs. They've got a 1-1 draw against Blackpool. It was a away draw, but that was not a bad result at all for me to get a draw against them. Blackpool had won 3 on the bounce. I think a draw was a very good result. I am going to give it to the home team. I think it'll be a really tough, battled out game, but I am going to give it to Sheffield United. I'm going to go for 2-1, but it's really good to see Barnsley making a bit of a relegation scrap of the bottom at the moment. We come on to Stoke versus Millwall, and Stoke will be really disappointed. I think I remember maybe around November time talking about them, possibly being in the playoff positions, and challenging the playoffs for the playoffs, I should say. Millwall, when you look at them, I mean, another massive result. Going, I think it was away from home, was it? I think it was away from home and beating Huddersfield Town. It was a home fixture, sorry. It was a home fixture, a 2-0 win, beating Huddersfield Town, which was a massive, massive result. Millwall have been on fantastic form recently. They are the ones to watch for the Championship, getting into the Championship playoffs. I think it's going to be a great fixture, this. I'm going to give it to the away team, though. Based on Millwall's current form, I do think they'll get a 2-1 victory in this fixture. Coming on to Swansea versus Birmingham now, and 2 teams that, they're towards the bottom end of the table, but in no fears of going down. But Swansea have picked up some good recent form. 3 wins out of the last 5. That'll be very uplifting for them. Birmingham lost in midweek after a win and a draw, switching to the back 5. They did play a bit of a back 4 in recent fixtures before that. I think I'm going to go for a Swansea win, though, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0 Swansea win. I think Swansea have got a little bit of form at the moment, especially being at home. I fancy them to get the win over Birmingham. Huddersfield Town versus Bournemouth now, and this is probably the biggest fixture, I should say, of this game week. And we look at Huddersfield Town, who are probably the only team that could really challenge Bournemouth now for that second place position. And of course, Bournemouth do have games in hand. Huddersfield will be really disappointed about their loss in midweek to Millwall, considering the fact that Bournemouth themselves did drop points as well to Reading. But, I really do feel Huddersfield need to pull off a win in this fixture if they are going to get that second place spot. Especially when you consider the games in hand that Bournemouth have. I am going to go for a draw, though, sadly. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw in this fixture. I do apologise, Huddersfield fans. Coming on to Reading now, playing Blackburn Rovers, and Reading will be really uplifted after their 1-1 result. But the problem is, look, it was a 1-1 result against Bournemouth, but they need more now. They need to start pulling off some wins, and they're coming up against the Blackburn side that will have and will be really uplifted in confidence. I said in my last predictions video, they'd only scored 1 in the last 9 before midweek when they went and scored 3 goals, 3-1 win against Derby County. They face another, potential relegation opponent in Reading this weekend, and I do think Blackburn will be very uplifted after their result in midweek, finally scoring and getting some goals on the board. And I do think I'm going to go for a Blackburn 2-0 win in terms of keeping their playoff position hopes pushing on, keeping them in those positions. Bristol City now coming up against West Brom, and Steve Bruce and West Brom will feel a bit more uplifted. They've started to come into a bit of form. It's going to be... I feel maybe their chances of playoffs are, they're a bit gone, aren't they? But having said that, if they pull off some miraculous form, they could maybe get themselves into it. But they will have to pull off something pretty big. They come up against the Bristol City team who, lately at home, they've done pretty well. 3 wins on the bounce at home. And, considering they've only won 7 at home all season, it shows that they're really picking up some form at home. I do think, though, that West Brom will win this, and I'm going to go for a narrow 1-0 win to West Brom as they keep their little hopes of making the playoffs available. Hull City now coming up against Luton Town, and Luton a massive victory against Preston in midweek, a 4-0 result, and another team battling for those playoff positions. Hull averaging just a point a game at home this season. So if they want to keep that point a game going, they need to get a point here to keep that going. I sadly don't think it will happen, though, for Hull. I do apologise, Hull fans. I just really think that Luton are... they're a team to watch at the moment, aren't they? Obviously, still hanging around those playoff positions. And I do think they're going to pull off another big win here. I think I'm actually going to go for a 3-1 away victory. Coming on to QPR versus Peterborough United now. And QPR and Peterborough both desperately need points. QPR need to pick up their form if they're going to get into the playoffs. Peterborough, I just feel they're probably the least likely team out of the 3. And I'm not just saying that because they're bottom of the table. Also looking at their form to get out of this relegation picture. I'm going to go for a QPR win. I think of QPR being at home, I think they get a win. I think it'll be a well-contested battle. I'm going to go 2-0 on this one to QPR. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you think I got any of my predictions wrong. As usual, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.